Good morning, peace and blessings. So today I'm making this video simply because with the current climate and things that are going on at the moment, what I'm finding is I'm getting a lot of emails, text messages, phone calls in regards to issues that are being foreseen and also issues that are actually happening right now within people's homes, within people's lives. And a lot of this is further exacerbated simply because of our current climate and obviously everyone being very cautious, protective, and there's heightened anxiety. So I thought if I do this video, it might be able to help a few people and also help us as a community on ways that we can self-care, self-love, and also look after others as well. A bit of background about me, most of you do know, but if you don't, I am a social worker. I'm also a learning disabilities nurse with experience in dual diagnosis mental health. I'm also a holistic therapeutic life coach. So this means that basically I, because of the experience that I have in the medical field as well as social and the coaching, I'm able to use all that together within my coaching. I also have knowledge of CBT, and I'm also trained as an NLP practitioner as well as CBT practitioner. So all of that together gives me the ability to obviously provide coaching in a very different way. But with all this experience that I have, many years ago now, about 6 years ago, I set up a service which helps people with their physical, medical issues that they may have, as well as mental health and social issues. And we do get referrals coming in and support people through that. So when I say I've been getting messages, it's been through the service, through the coaching, and also I'm seeing stuff through the nursing and social work that I do as well. So what are we going to do about all the stress and anxiety out there? I think the main thing first is that we need to give ourselves some self-love and some attention. If we can't give ourselves the attention that we need, and our body and mind is telling us that we need some attention for ourselves, then we're not going to be able to help anyone else. With a lot of us having to self-isolate, be together with families, I think the main thing is that we need to make sure that we take time out for ourselves. So for example, within your home, it might even be a small home, 2-bedroom, and you've got 2 kids in one room and you and your husband in the other, for example. Why not find a corner or a space which you can corner off with chairs or something, and that's kind of like a timeout space. So that doesn't mean the kind of timeout that we have when kids are being naughty, but more a positive timeout, so that you get your own little space for your little period of time that you need. Make a little cone to stick outside and say, timeout, do not disturb for another 10 minutes, for example. I don't know, whatever suits you. But in that time, you do something that really helps you to calm down, whether it is meditation, which a lot of people are doing nowadays, or reading a book, or looking through some articles, hopefully not something that's going to stress you out in regards to what's going on in the news at the moment. Something that's going to just bring you back down to a level of calm and peace. What I found myself is if I don't get the time that I need, I do find my stress levels start to go up. So obviously with the kids being off school, it's not going to be very helpful. So if we can either find a room or a corner or a space that we can mark as a timeout section, and kind of make sure that everyone respects that space. But I do understand that obviously if you've got little children, it's very hard. But then that's when we need to really be strict with our routine. And as soon as a child has gone to sleep, we first, before doing any of the chores that need to be done, have been waiting to be done and literally screaming out at us, I think we need to just take out at least 10 minutes in our timeout space. Make the most of that time, even if it is 10 minutes. 10 minutes can go a long way if we use it the right way. So, I leave that up to you, what works for you within your time out, and what you enjoy doing, what boosts your energy. If it means sitting there and eating, I don't know, a bowl of fruits, maybe a bit of chocolate. Don't obviously go overdoing it with chocolate, because then your energy levels will just shoot straight back down. But that is another topic, I guess. So do what works. Or it could just be a cup of tea and having it in a very mindful way. So I think I'll leave that to you to decide what works for you. So once you feel better and you've come out from there, you're ready to take on those chores, and it won't be so much of a chore, but you can do even chores in a therapeutic and mindful way. For example, washing dishes. When you look at those dishes, you think, oh my God. But if you think about it, yeah, if you get a nice smelling soap, lovely hot water, and you've got your hands in hot water and bubbles, and that can become quite a mindful task. Yes, as long as you've got time out again within that task and you haven't got people pulling at your legs and stuff, then you can actually make that task go a long way in terms of making yourself feel good. So another thing that you do need to do is, when your anxiety levels are going up, the family as a whole need to understand that if you're taking time out, not to come after you, not to ask what the problem is, not to kind of be in your face. So for the family themselves, they need to see that you're saying, I need time out, I'm walking out. That doesn't mean you're in a huff, you're angry. It just means that you need time out. Initially, you may find that your time out will be short sessions, but often. But eventually what would be good is to lengthen those sessions of time out and actually fulfill what you want to do in that time, and have less of them. But you're making the most of that time that you have. So that way it's not as disruptive to the day and to others that are relying on you, like young kids. We also need structure for the children, for other family members, so that you're not within each other's face all the time. So, if we could plan out the day, the children watch TV at a certain time. During that time, you can get on with other things, and they need to respect that they're going to do their thing and you won't disturb them, and you will do your thing. If the kids are really giving you a hard time, something that I've found that's always been very relaxing for my children is to either have a hot shower or a bubble bath. So what I used to do was to stick them all in the bubble bath together. Yes, there is a bit of a mess. You could put some plastic down or something. But that gives you a little bit of time and a bit of a break for them. Once they've come out the bath or the shower, they're usually quite kind of mellow. A good time to stick a movie on, give them a bit of popcorn. Yet again, that gives you time to do your own thing. So a lot of the cases that I've been getting are elderly people that have been going out, and obviously with everything going on, the shelves are quite empty at the moment. And they're not finding what they need, and they are coming back, and on a few occasions I've had a few elderly people actually cry to me and say, I don't know what to do, I'm really worried, I'm all alone. I think the loneliness is a very big issue for a lot of our elders. What we need to do is kind of find ways of communicating with them. Some elders have lost their partner, and their children are living far away at the moment, going through the same issues that we are. So obviously they're quite isolated or unwell or whatever it may be. And the elders are worrying about their children, but they are alone. Yeah. So even if they're not well, how do they go out and do shopping? All of these foreseeable things are things that these elders are now starting to worry about. So we need to be really mindful of that, that we, if we are healthy and well enough to go out and do things ourselves, we tend to worry about obviously our children and issues at home, but we're not always mindful that there are people out there that actually aren't even able to go out as easily as we do. Some of them don't drive, so if they're having to go at a distance, it's quite difficult for them. Usually the idea would be that they can walk down to the corner shop, but if the corner shop shelves are empty, what are they going to do for food? So we need to be a lot more mindful, and maybe within your streets we could work together within the street or the locality. Maybe do a search online to see if there's any support groups, and if that means that you just support the people that are local to you that need help. A lot of the time what we find though is a lot of the elders obviously cannot or aren't very versed with social media, emails or things like that, internet, and so we don't always know what's going on with them. They may be good with opening links on their smartphone and being able to access videos and things like that on YouTube, but sometimes more than that can become quite complicated and quite complex for them. So maybe this is a good time to maybe train up your neighbor before things get a lot worse, and we are all quite isolated, so that they maybe can communicate with yourself or others in a different way. So these are kind of things that we can think about in regards to supporting the elders. But I think the most important thing that we need to do is kind of make the elders realize that they're not alone, and that we are there, and reassure them, but then we actually need to be there for them, to speak to maybe on the phone, which might be the easiest way for them to just pick up the phone. But sometimes they don't want to burden you, so they may not call you. It might be something that you need to do on a regular basis, maybe a certain time of day, every day. You just call in, see how you are, maybe give yourself about 20 minutes, 15 minutes. As you know, once somebody starts talking, what you don't want to do is break them halfway through their conversation, and say that you need to go. So maybe at another time out within your day where you're actually doing something for somebody else. And what you'll find actually is doing something for somebody else will make you feel a lot more energetic than when you do something for yourself. Another issue that I have come across with a lot of people is families are worried about being together 24/7. There are a lot of families that are struggling. As you know, marriage is not easy, for example, and day to day in marriage people do have issues, but they plod along, they manage to keep a civil relationship, and not saying it's not a loving relationship, but as we know, opposites attract. But when opposites are together all the time, we can have fireworks. So what we need to be mindful of there as well is that we give each other space, the husband and wife, and again, the time out, but find things to do separately as well as together. It doesn't necessarily mean that if the whole family is in isolation, they need to do everything together. Give yourself space from the other person so that you yourself are able to do what you want. What you don't want is the resentment. I'm going to sit down and watch a movie with the family, and you're kind of resenting it because you think, but I really want to do my thing. It's always about me giving up for others. So have that conversation. Maybe use this opportunity to develop a lot more communication and conversation within the home than what we normally do. A lot of the time we tend to bottle things up and then it comes out as a big rah. So rather than maybe just getting really annoyed and really angry, why not start developing conversation? I think the other thing we have is through text message, we tend to converse a lot more, a lot better, a lot civil, and is that space. But now we won't even be doing that if we're in the same home, I guess. So the art of conversation, even within a husband and wife, has somewhat reduced over the years. So let's find a way to maybe start conversation again. Maybe while you put the children in a bubble bath, you could have a candlelight dessert. So many ideas, so many things we could still do, but I leave that to you guys. I think the thing that I'm really wanting to maybe support more with at the moment, and I have more concerns with, are a lot of the single parents that will be in self-isolation with maybe young children, the worry about having to go out and not being able to leave your children, but having to take your children with you everywhere when you're going shopping and that. That's not going to be easy, and also within the house to have your children with you 24/7. In that case, I would say obviously to consider maybe having a lot more structure, and keeping separate rooms for separate activities if you have separate rooms, or separate sections of the room, so that the children eventually, maybe it takes a week for them to get used to this new way of living, that mummy's going to be in this section doing her work, you can be in your section playing, and the other child can be in their section watching TV. And if people are mindful of personal space and kind of sectioning the room, over time they may get used to that. So that might be a way of working, but I'm happy to have conversations with anyone that wants to find new ways or is struggling at the moment, regardless whether you're an older person that's anxious and stressed out about the whole situation and what may happen to you, because I think that's more of an issue with a lot of older people. Maybe at the moment they're coping okay, but it's we don't know what the foreseeable future is, and to some extent that causes more anxiety than our current state right now. But the thing that we always worry about is what's happening in the future, and it's hard to say, well, stop worrying about that. No matter how much you say stop worrying about the future, you know, what will happen, that doesn't really help the situation. So sometimes it's good to just have a chat with somebody. I'm happy through Instagram, Facebook, and emails to have conversations, and through that avenue I'm happy to even give out my telephone number and have conversations with anyone that wants to maybe just talk over a few issues that they need to get off their chest at the moment. But more so, my heart goes out to a lot of the single mums and dads out there that are struggling at the moment already, you know, having to work from home with the children at home, not getting time out. One thing I must say though, and must emphasize, is that sleep is key. You know, in some ways it feels like a bit of a holiday. Let's just sleep late, and the kids are up early, so you end up getting up early. I guess over the weekends it kind of works because you know that by Monday, when the routine's back in, or Sunday night, you're going to be sleeping early again, or to your normal timing, and you'll get enough sleep again. But this is not a holiday, and it's not 2 days. This may be a long time. So we really need to be really disciplined within our timings, and particularly our sleep pattern, so that we don't wear ourselves out. We do whatever we want to do, but be really mindful that even if you're not getting sleep through the night, if you've got young kids, if they're sleeping in the day, then just make sure, or even if they're not, it doesn't matter right now. If they want to have a nap in the day, just let them have a nap in the day. Even if it's for half an hour, at least you get your time to also have a nap, or, you know, time to do whatever you need to do. But I have to reinforce again, please make sure that you sleep. Sleep will help you keep your immunity strong. So I think I've said quite a bit for today that I wanted to obviously get off my chest as well, after speaking to quite a few people and messaging a few people back in regards to their concerns. So I wish you all the best. I wish you well, and we'll pray for everyone to obviously come out of this difficult time as soon as possible. And I hope you're all together with me in this prayer. Peace and blessings. Time out for now.